something changes within that movement, you're not just going to go along with it as well. You've got to be able to step back and go, well, I don't know. Everything's an individual decision. But you got to look at intent. That's the major goal. You're going to want to make sure you do 1 day a week of gathering new experiences. And this is what I like to call my Fight Club day. New experiences is going out into the world and putting yourself in situations where you are uncomfortable. This doesn't mean you go out and you beat people up. It means you go places you haven't been before. You try to, if there's like a drag show going on, go down and check that out. Maybe they've got like some Hare Krishna thing going on down at the park. Go check that out. It's about getting out and getting involved in what's going on in the world around you. Your own experience is an amazing teacher. You work on observation skills. You work on what it is to be by yourself. And these should be done, the new experience thing should be done on your own. You shouldn't do that with people. If you want to do it with a friend, it gets a little dangerous sometimes because you're taking in, the two of you decide the way things are. You don't decide how you're perceiving this. You have the affirmation of another person to tell you, oh, that's cool. Don't you think that's cool? Yeah, we think that's cool. And suddenly that becomes cool versus what you believe to be cool, where you go, yeah, I like that. That's really neat. So I'm a big fan of when you go out to experience new things. I like doing it by myself because that way it's very it seems to be more honest, I suppose, and it definitely empowers you because then you know why the reasons you chose what you chose and you like what you like and things of this nature. So 1 day a week, go out, gather new experiences. Even if you're just walking around places you've never been, go for a drive, or maybe you want to take a course, like you want to go more for the experience of taking the course, like a meditation course or something like that. You can sort of combine those two that way. There's no hard and fast rules other than 1 day a week you're going for new experiences. And in your last day of week, of course, because you had 7 days, even God had to take 1 day to rest, which means you do butt kiss. Nothing. And you're like, oh my God, I'm wasting time. I get so much email from people going, Sean, I waste time. Always wasting time. My God, the time. I've got no time. I've got no time. Dude, if you do not take time, you will never have time. Time, you have all the time you want. Your time is your own. There's only consequences if you don't do certain things. Well, if I don't go here, this will happen. And yes, you know what? It will. Zen out. Sit down, become like a rock, and let the world move around you. Eventually, you realize that, whoa, wait a second. I'm here. Everything else is moving around me, and I have the option to step outside of the chaos that is life. When you're able to do that, you're able to plan things and come up with your own ideas and own thoughts and images and things like this. This is how we've been able to do everything we've done, all the filming, all the work, everything at RANT Radio and RANT Media. I mean, that's how every artist everywhere has ever accomplished anything, is to step outside of the system and go with what they feel is a goal. That's my time management system. That's how I operate in this crazy world we're living in. Maybe it can help you out. My name's Sean Kennedy, and I am the fucking man. I want to know what you think about all the medication, all the Prozac, all the mandatory mental health testing they want to do in the United States. Why? Why do you think that's bad? Why do you think all these people taking Prozac and mandatory medication of children, why do you think that's bad?
Oh my gosh, because it's big pharmaceutical companies that want to make big bucks. It has nothing to do with the needs of the people. It has to do with the needs of the rich bastards who own the pharmaceutical companies. Okay. They want to get richer and richer and richer and squeeze us all down into little lumps of medicated goo. Yeah. Poor goo.
What do you think about the amount of medication that's being handed out to kids, young people, that kind of stuff? Like, a lot of people are on Prozac, Zyban, Xanax, all that kind of stuff. Antidepressants are everywhere. They're talking about mandatory mental health testing of all school children in the United States. What do you think about that?
I think it shows a real lack of just spiritualness, where everybody's going for the right answers and they're lacking a complete sense of mysticism and prayer, and that when people aren't at peace with themselves and they're not at peace with the world, and they haven't, forgive me for sounding religious, but forgiven people, when they're harboring resentment in their hearts, then they're very angry, and everybody's saying, oh, you're supposed to be happy all the time, you're supposed to be peaceful all the time, but everybody's going for happiness,
right,
rather than a sense of peace and well-being with everybody around them.
Right.
So everybody's going for this when your natural state is somewhere around here.
Right.
So you end up going up being really, really happy and excited.
Right.
And then so naturally, you're going to fluctuate. So people are afraid of sadness and of sorrow
Right.
and of suffering.
Right.
So when you're afraid of sadness and of sorrow and suffering, you always want to be ecstatic and happy.
Right.
And it's impossible for someone to be ecstatic and happy all the time.
What would you suggest as a instead of medicating young people and stuff like that, what would you think might be a better idea?
Teach people that it's okay to be sad, and that there is a natural ebb and flow of the world, that there are happy times, there are sad times. It's okay to weep at a funeral. It's okay to be sad that someone's left you. It's okay to be really happy when someone's near, but you have to be happy and you have to be sad.
A lot of people that aren't really sick, they're just kind of in a slump or depressed, they put them on antidepressants, and it's easier to get now, and a lot of people taking, antidepressants for fun, even if they're not even depressed.
Do you think that's true? Do you think a lot of people abuse it?
She took all my points.
Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
All my points. My points.
Yeah, I think they're abusing it, yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, because, there's a lot of people, taking Ritalin for fun because it gets them all
Snorting
hyped
it.
up. And yeah, and that's for people, to calm them down or something like that. So.
Do you think there is a lot of people who are mentally deranged in society today, or do you think it's just a bit?
I think it's overrated, yeah. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people that are, mentally deranged or whatever. They're just probably having problems or whatever.
What would you suggest for people who are like upset with their lives or kids and all? Instead of medication, what would you think would be a better solution?
Activities.
Yeah, activities, something like a hobby.
Do something to get your mind off of it.
Yeah, like something like a hobby or something like that. I don't know.
Just be
Develop
active.
something
active,
safer
yeah.
than drugs that can screw you up.
Yeah.
You don't, kids don't have to take that. It's about diet. Like, if you take all red food dyes out of a child's diet, and some other things like less sugar and whatnot, those children will be perfectly sane. Whereas you feed them Ritalin, they have drug abuse problems later in life. I know tons of people who've taken Ritalin as children turn out to be mad drug abusers, total excessive users, right? They get into anything because that's their thing, right?
What do you think about the amount of medication that is being doled out to young people, especially all the ADHD, a lot of people on lithium, Prozac, Xanax, Zyban? What do you think about that?
I would wonder if there's a better way to deal with the rising number of social, behavioral, whatever problems in North America than medication. Not saying I have any answers, but from what you hear, it doesn't appear to be a rising problem in any continents besides North America. So